What if Illia Topuria had superpowers? What's up, guys? Welcome to another video. I really want to start talking about MMA more because I'm also a geek over that. Not just geeky stuff, but also this. In this video, I'm going to be talking about that, and then I'm going to be reviewing UFC 317. If you don't want to stick around for the review of that, I understand. It's okay. This is kind of an experiment. But let's break it down. If you don't know who Illia Topuria is, he is the lightweight UFC champion of the world and the ex-featherweight UFC champion of the world. Right now, he's basically the guy, and he is known for his knockout power big time and his incredible boxing. A lot of people don't know he's also a great grappler. He's just all around a great MMA fighter. I'm not just glazing him right now, even though I could, saying these things for a reason because they're going to go into what his powers are. Another thing he does is he predicts what he's going to do in the octagon. He just predicted his first round knockout against Charles Oliveira. He said he was going to do it in round 1 in under 3 minutes. And he did just that. And that's not the first time he's eerily predicted something like that. So what would his superpowers be? Well, with his one-punch power, I wouldn't give him just super strength. I'm giving him the ability to build up kinetic energy in those fists. So the more shots he takes and the more shots he gives, he builds up that kinetic energy in those fists, ultimately being able to release them on contact when he wants to, creating an explosion and leaving them almost dead. His second ability is just straight walking aura because that's what he is. When you're in his presence getting ready to fight, you are just straight up nervous. When you're around him, it just makes you completely uneasy. This makes it harder for his opponents to calm down and actually fight him. His third and final power, being able to see into the future, but not like completely. He cannot see the exact thing that's going to happen, but he can predict it based off feelings and very short visions. Oh, for example, he'd be like really good at like Marco Polo, except he wouldn't need you to say Polo because he could just sense you around him. He understands what's coming. He can basically sense like a disturbance in the force. And his superhero or villain name would just be Matador. As the first part of the video, guys, now I'm going to be talking about UFC 317. Just be reviewing the main card. Starting out with the first fight, Payton Talbot versus Felipe Lima. Payton Talbot is coming off his first loss. They both only had one loss before this fight. Everyone was saying Payton got fraud checked in his last fight. Honestly, that's just unfair for us to say. Frank Ocean is the only one who checks him on a regular basis, so he's the only one who would know. Payton Talbot honestly surprised me with this, because Felipe Lima's grappling is very good. And Payton Talbot was honestly beating him on the ground and on the feet. Now, Payton wasn't the one who was taking him down. Felipe was taking Payton down. But once they got to the ground, Payton was out-grappling him. This is Payton's 5th win in the UFC. I'm not sure if he's ready for a ranked opponent quite yet, especially coming off of a loss from this fight. I think maybe giving him one more unranked opponent might be the move. Next fight up is Beneil Dariush versus Renato Moicano. Bro did not see much money after this fight. Beneil won against Renato. This was a pretty good fight, but it was pretty clear Moicano just wasn't really there, especially in the second and third round. I gave the first round to him, but after that, Beneil was beating him everywhere. Which props to Beneil for coming back after that first round, especially getting knocked down. After this fight, I think you might have to give Beneil a top 5 fight, maybe. Lightweight division is a weird place right now. You could give him Gamrot. That would be a good fight. Gamrot's at number 7, but he's also coming off of a win. I don't think you could give him Dan Hooker because Dan Hooker deserves a top 5 fight. But at the same time, Dan Hooker is coming off of injury, so that fight might make sense for Dan Hooker coming back. Max Holloway, it also makes sense if Max loses to Dustin, but only if he loses to Dustin. If Max wins against Dustin, that wouldn't make much sense. He has a few options. And there's Moicano. I would love to see Moicano fight Benoit Saint Denis. Benoit is coming off of a win. He's ranked 14th right now. Or you could do Renato versus Michael Chandler, which would be a good fight too. They're both coming off losses. That fight makes sense. Moving on to the third fight, Brandon Royval versus Joshua Van. This was the fight of the night, if not the fight of the year so far. Brandon Royval went at it for 3 rounds, unbelievable pace. It just didn't stop. And won by damage, pretty much. Royval put out more output. Not much more, but more. Now, obviously, you're going to have to give Joshua Van the title shot after this. I mean, he just beat the number 1 guy. He faced off with Pantoja after Pantoja's fight. What do we do with Brandon Royval? Well, Brandon Royval is coming off of a loss, obviously, and so is Kai Kara France against Pantoja. I think that fight would be a lot of fun. I think that's the fight to make, personally. Brandon Royval versus Kai Kara France. Speaking of, now we have Pantoja versus Kai Kara France. I pretty much already said what I said about those two. Pantoja versus Joshua Van. Kai Kara-France versus Brandon Royval. I think that just makes sense. Now the main event, Topuria versus Charles Oliveira. Not much to say. Topuria knocked him out in 2.5 minutes. Charles is, in my opinion, the third best lightweight ever. That's 3 legends in a row that he beat, and not only beat but knocked out. Now I could talk about Illia and how he's doing for an hour, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to review this. It's nice that we saw Illia get to grapple with Charles, because now we know that Illia can grapple. I mean, I already knew that, but I think that answer was unanswered for a lot of people, and now people have an answer. So what does Illia do now? Does he go up and fight Islam? Does he fight Paddy? Well, personally, I would like to see the Paddy fight, but I don't think that's what he gets next. It just doesn't make sense. I think Paddy needs to fight Justin Gaethje, and winner of that gets Topuria. Problem with that, I don't know if that's going to happen, because Justin Gaethje said he might retire if he just doesn't get a title shot. Which I guess you could feed Justin Gaethje to Topuria. I don't know how many people want to see that. I mean, I'd still watch it. Personally, I think Arman is most deserving. I mean, I think he's the only guy who gives him any trouble. Now, if you make the Paddy versus Justin Gaethje fight in the next few months, and we see Paddy absolutely destroy Justin Gaethje, then I would say something different. I'd say, man, Paddy or Arman would be a good choice. But man, I really want to see Arman versus Illia. I think that is the fight to make. Because if you give it to Paddy right now, I think that's just a waste. A, because the rivalry could be so much better if we see Paddy beat one more guy. I mean, he's ranked number 8 right now, I think. And B, Illia just beat Alex Volkanovski, Max Holloway, and Charles Oliveira 3 times in a row. No offense to Paddy, but he's a big downgrade from those guys. I'm not even saying in terms of skill, I'm more saying in terms of name, legacy, all that stuff. Arman is literally the #1 contender right now. So who does Charles fight now? This is a tough one. I don't think we're ever getting Justin Gaethje versus Dan Hooker, which is really sad, because I wanted to see those guys kill each other. So I think you give Dan Hooker to Oliveira. I think that just makes sense. I think there's a good chance Dan Hooker gets absolutely cooked in that fight. But who knows, Oliveira could be on his way out. He is getting old. I'm not sure. I don't really want to see Charles Oliveira fight Dustin Poirier or Justin Gaethje again. That's just not interesting at all to me. But yeah, guys, that's my review of UFC 317. Tell me what you thought of this, if you liked me doing this, because I would really like to start doing MMA content, because I'm a geek about MMA too. And I think it low-key goes kind of hand-in-hand with comics, anime, and all that stuff. I mean, a lot of fighters start fighting because of anime and all that stuff. I mean, even me, I started working out and training MMA because of my love for this kind of stuff growing up. I wanted to be the real thing. Maybe some other people can resonate with that. If you made it this far, I really appreciate you watching. I'll see you in the next one.
Just come back for fun, because it's great being alive with you.
Good read.